Today I'm going to show you how to make earrings using shrink paper. You're going to need a pencil and paper, markers, printable shrink sheets, a hole punch, scissors, pliers, and earring hooks, and a light table. First, you're going to start off by measuring how big you want your final piece to be to see how big you should make your drawing. So the paper shrinks down to about half of its original size when it shrinks. So if you draw it 3 by 2 inches, it'll be about 1.5 inches by 1 inch once it shrinks. So I'm just drawing some guidelines. Then you're going to draw out your design. I'm just freehand drawing a character that I draw a lot, but you can trace something, copy something, whatever. So it ended up being 2 inches by 2 inches, so it'll end up being 1 inch square once it shrinks. Now we're going to transfer the design onto the shrinkable paper. Make sure you draw on the non-glossy side, so on the matte side. Now we'll just cut the paper down so it's a little easier to work with. Just cut the shrink paper down to a smaller size. We don't need that much extra, just make it slightly bigger than your design. Then line it up over the design, glossy side down, and I like to secure it with a little piece of tape so it's not moving all over the place. Next, we're going to trace the design, so get out your light table, plug it in, turn it on, make sure it's going to work. Then you're going to get the markers that you want to use to color your design. I'm using gray, pink, and black, and then start drawing your design. I like to try to start on the left side of my design and work my way over to the right to avoid too much smudging of the ink with my hand because that can mess up the design. Once you're done coloring, let the design dry for a second, admire it, before grabbing the hole punch and punching a hole where you want it to hang from the earring from. I usually do the top center part, and this hole might seem pretty big, but trust me, once the design shrinks, it will be the perfect size for the earring. So once the hole has been punched out, we're going to cut out the design. So cut directly along the edge of your design, leaving a little circle area around the hole. You want to make sure you leave that area around the hole so that it's going to be able to hold up the pendant. Now is the time I like to fill in any white spots that are left or any colors that I want to brighten up, because this is the last step before shrinking, and once it's shrunk, you're not going to be able to change the colors. Again, just be careful and try not to smudge anything. Work carefully and let the ink dry. Now to shrink your design, you're going to use a small conventional oven, and you're going to heat it to about 350 degrees, so as hot as it goes. And you're going to let it preheat for 10 to 15 minutes. Also, grab a piece of foil and a spatula. After the oven's been heating for a while, place your design inside the oven. Close the oven up and give it a few seconds. Just watch it. After a few seconds, you'll see your design start to curl up and move around. That's good. That's part of the process. After about 10 to 15 seconds, it should flatten out and stop moving. And once it hasn't been moving for a few seconds, use the spatula to pull it out. Be careful. I use my sleeve to pull the tray out because it gets pretty hot. Drop the design onto the foil that you put out and fold it over and press it down with the spatula to make sure that it flattens out. Now just close the oven back up and your pendant is ready to be put onto an earring. Take your earring hook and use your pair of pliers to open up the little hoop at the end of the earring, and then slide the pendant onto the earring so the side with the design on it goes in the opposite direction of the hook. That way, when the earring is on, the design is facing outwards. Close up the hoop, make sure it's nice and tight, and there you have it. You have a custom, one-of-a-kind earring that you can actually wear.